Good day, paranormal community, and thank you for partaking here in the Odyssey Files. I'm your host, Michael O'Neill. With me, once again,
as
is
always, for 2 weeks in a row.
a new record for this year, I think, is my co-host, Mr. David Sawyering. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, everybody. Good to be back 2 weeks in a row, establishing a new foothold here on the podcast.
I feel like Bob Uecker in Major League. And he's like, and the Indians just extended their longest streak of the year. 2.
It feels like it, man. It kind of feels weird to be back on a normal schedule after having the issues I was having and being off for a while. I was it felt weird, but it's good to be back.
Yes, it is. Glad to have you back. Anthony was amazing. Always gonna say so. But we're in year number 8, Dave, and I don't want to train in a new apprentice. But that's okay. So we have an interesting topic which you brought up before you even came back. That you wanted to do, and then we're gonna talk about that. And then at the end of the show, if there's time, we have another kind of newsworthy topic that we want to cover. So we'll see if there's time. But let's hop into this because you brought me something I'd never heard of, something even Anthony had never heard of. Yep. The Peruvian Face Peelers.
Yeah.
And even though to me that name is not quite accurate, I get it. But why don't you tell the story of how you came across this story and what it is?
Sure. So, as you know, and as everybody who knows me knows, I'm always looking for something odd to grab my attention, something that's a little far out in left field type of thing. And, a lot of it's BS, but it's still interesting to read through at times. And so being laid up like I was for a while, I was reading a lot and doing some deep dives on the internet. And then I was watching a lot of YouTube and some documentaries and stuff. And I came across this story about these 7-foot tall aliens, for lack of a better term, and we'll describe it more like what the word we'll use alien for right now, but they call them extraterrestrial beings. I'll put that in air quotes. 7 foot tall that were terrorizing this village in Peru, and I think the name of the town was Loreto, and there was a young girl there, a teenager, who she had left in the documentary I watched anyway. She had normal day, had gone out back. It was hot, and during the middle of the day when it's hot, everybody takes a siesta, right? So the whole place is kind of just in that lackadaisical kind of, it's too hot to work right now. We're just all going to sit in the shade and stuff. So she had gone to the back of the property that was all jungle, the back of her house in a small little village. And there was a couple fruit trees back there, and she had gone to get some fresh fruit to kind of shake the trees, get some fresh fruit, and bring it back because they were going to make some drinks. And so she goes and does that. And as she's in the backyard, she notices that she hears a noise first, and then she looks over her shoulder, and there's a guy on what she described. So he's all dressed in black. There's what she described is that he was on a hoverboard or some type of floating hovercraft. And so right away, I'm like, okay, 7 foot tall guy, middle of the Peru jungle on a hoverboard. This is interesting, right? So you get to read more. Well, it turns out another guy shows up. One of them didn't speak English. One of them spoke English, which I found very interesting. The other one spoke Spanish. They both looked identical. They were both thin and tall, 7 foot tall, and they were on hoverboards, and they tried to abduct her. And they actually had her. And she said that when the one grabbed her, that right above them, they got to a clearing where the trees were, and the tops of the trees, because she was like, this guy had her over her shoulder at one point. And she said she turned and looked, and over the top of the trees, the clouds actually parted. And when that happened, she said she felt like she was starting to rise up in the air. So she screams and starts kicking and manages to, this guy loses his grip and she falls to the ground. Didn't get hurt, thankfully, but she falls to the ground, gets up and starts running. Well, as she screams, all the guys in the village who were taking siestas are now on full alert that something bad is happening. They come racing it over with shotguns, by the way, and see these two individuals exactly like she described them. Multiple people described them exactly the same way. 7 foot tall, all dressed in black, thin, on what appeared to be some type of hovercraft. As soon as those guys came, they started firing shots out of their shotguns at this guy or at these two guys. These things went, they paused for a second, and everybody in the village watched them. They shot straight up through the canopy of the trees, and they were gone in a heartbeat. Just woof, just straight up in the air, right? So I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what the hell that was, but that's very interesting. You know, you've got personal witnesses, a whole village. Well, then I start doing a little bit of research on it. And as Anthony did, and some of the research he shared with us, it got picked up by a whole bunch of different newspapers and television shows and all kinds of stuff. And the government came in, and this is the part that caught my eye that I thought was the most interesting. The government comes in and says their official stance was, the government officials come in, their official stance was, it's those damn gringos that are illegally mining gold in the area. And they shut the case. That's pretty much what their conclusion was. And I'm like, wait a second. First of all, I'm a tall man myself, but I'm not 7 foot tall. And I don't know any, there's only a handful of people on the planet Earth that I know that are 7 foot tall. Secondly, what would we be doing on some type of hoverboard craft, which I've never heard of technology on a hoverboard where you can shoot straight up in the sky and disappear through the canopy of trees? And then why are they trying to abduct this girl if they're there mining gold? So nothing added up to me. So that's why I saw it. And I'm like, something's going on here. Something weird is happening here.
That was the thing that made me laugh about this was the government and like the officials' explanation as to what it was.
Yeah, that's what got me too.
I mean, I laughed out loud when I read that it was jetpack equipped gold miners.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how dumb like can you be? And I get the government not caring how dumb it is as long as they can pinpoint it to something that is earthbound.
Right.
So I mean, do you think based off this that there is an earthbound natural explanation for this, or are you going with 7 foot tall aliens?
I totally am going with some type of extraterrestrial type of engagement that happened here. So, and the reason I say that is because one of the guys, they consider him, and I don't have his name handy, but I can look it up while we're talking here. I should have written it down. I forgot to. They call him the modern day Indiana Jones. All right. So I would say he's probably in his 50s now. But when he started backpacking the world when he was like 14. And he's been backpacking forever. He's been everywhere. Like he's explored. The guy's amazing. Like he's had all these amazing encounters. Well, he actually was in South America when this happened. And he heard about it from like word of mouth that there were 7 foot tall gringos wearing jetpacks or on hoverboards trying to abduct villagers in Peru. So he went. He got boots on the ground. Him and a couple guys put a little team together. They went boots on the ground, actually went to the village and interviewed everybody, talked to everybody there, said, hey, what was happening? What happened? All this other stuff. He got kind of deep into it. And the reason that the name the Face Peelers came about is from his research anyway, was that there were abduction cases. There were actual abduction cases where they found the bodies of missing villagers that had their faces or pieces of their faces surgically removed like a cattle mutilation. And that's where the name the Face Peelers kind of came from. And this started now like in the 70s. So this is a recent event, like recently current, like thing that's happening. Well, to me recently, 70s, I guess is a long time ago, but it doesn't seem that long ago because I lived through the 70s. So it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. I can remember where I was on certain days in the 70s. So, it's interesting though. So all of his stuff got taken. The government came in and confiscated all of their stuff. So he had photographic evidence. He had sworn witness testimony, papers signed, the whole 9 yards. Before he could get out, the powers that be got a hold of him, detained him and his buddies that were there, and grabbed all their shit. And so now it's just word of mouth. But he was there. I mean, he had a couple photographs that he got out that he was placed him in the village. To me, it proves that he was there. And he knew the layout and he knew everything that was going on. And so I found it really interesting. So to me, this kind of sounds like reptilians all over it, or praying mantis type of thing. And why they're taking human subjects and doing shit like laser cutting pieces of their face off, I have no idea. But why are they doing that to cattle mutilations as well? I mean, why are they doing it to cattle,
Well, maybe.
This is the
I'm
first
sorry, go
time,
ahead.
though. I was going to say, this isn't the first time that we've heard of, and a lot of times people think of UFO abductions and stuff as you wake up and you're on that, cold metal table and there's a bunch of grays around you and you panic because you can't move, but your eyes are open and you're sick. But there are the cases and the reports down in Mexico where alien abductions are actual dissections and like biologically they're harvesting parts off of humans. I remember we're going way back in the day. I remember talking to Chet Kalick about that was happening down there. And I think that was part of the whole, that information packet that he got. They were talking about some of the more severe type of abductions. So if it's happening in Mexico, it's not far-fetched to think that it could be happening all across South America, as desolate as that area is. I mean, it's all just land there and very different terrain, mountainous regions, deep jungle, who knows how many people are being experimented on there.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, and this goes directly to the point of why here is it like cattle and there it's humans.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that one of the main reasons for that is the ability to stay in the dark, to do it in the shadows. I mean, because you come to America and you start abducting people and cutting their faces off, it's going to be national news within 12 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to some small village.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to some small village or small town in South America, like Laredo, and start taking humans. Nobody's going to pay any mind to it whatsoever.
I agree with you.
Well,
That's what I think makes the story more believable, is that this is really that something weird is happening. I think it's more believable because like we're talking about, right? You're surrounded by jungle, by deep jungle. Well, in that jungle, there's all kinds of predators. You've got wild cats, pumas, jaguars, giant snakes. I mean, human beings fall victim to jungle predators on a regular basis when you're talking about like the Amazon and that whole South America region where it's still really wild and untamed. No, we're not restarting. Don't be stupid, computer. All right, sorry.
All right.
I had to put it in its place. It's like, we're ready to restart to Windows Update. No, you're not. No, you're not. You had the whole week to take care of that shit. You're not taking care of that shit right in the middle of the show. Dumbass thing. Anyway, and I can't get over the simplicity of them writing it off as, whether it be a hoverboard or jetpack, because it's written up both ways. And there's multiple encounters that are written up both ways. Some type of propulsion device. We don't even have that technology. Do we? I mean, I know that we have jetpacks, but they're loud as hell.
Yeah.
Like when you see, if you go to like an air show and somebody slaps on, some experimental jetpack thing that they built and they, shoot off the ground 10, 20 feet and go up in the air and zoom around for a little bit, but those are loud as hell. The encounters were silent.
Yeah. See, and I think that's an important thing to note is as, these hoverboards and as they shoot up, there's still no sound.
There's no sound.
There's no sound to it. So, and then one of the reports, like they got this teacher to go on the the prosecution side, for their quote unquote investigation.
Yeah.
Saying that, that these jetpacks or whatever had propellers. And I'm like, no, that's one, those are loud too. And two, you would get the whole air of like the whole whoosh sound of the wind and stuff like that. And there's no part of any sort of witness to saying, oh, we were knocked on the ground by all of the the rush of air that came from them exploding up into the sky. So propellers being a part of this, no, just no.
And they were able to part. Go ahead.
Oh, make your point, because I was gonna talk about something else really quick.
Okay, I was going to say, so to further that point, right? The propeller idea is just preposterous, and the interesting thing though is when they were when the people saw them and stuff and had these encounters with these individuals, they were able to part the canopy trees, like to part the canopies to basically escape straight up just by looking up at them. And then it was like instantaneous. So it's almost like they have control, like they're able to control their surroundings and manipulate their surroundings and create an escape route. And some people are probably sitting at home right now scratching their heads going, well, if they're aliens and they're superior and blah, 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 why would they need to escape? And I get it, because I thought about that question too. I don't think they need to escape. I just don't think that they want to be necessarily engaging close enough to the point where the human beings that they're trying to abduct can understand exactly what they're up against, would be my counter to that. Like, I think they want to stay hidden as far as what they look like or identity and stuff like that. I don't think that I don't think that they want to get into like this combat situation where they're going to stay on the ground and kind of fight back. If it were people stealing gold, like here, I'm looking at the Hindu Times, right? And it says, that these attacks that they're blaming them on, like the mafias and the cartels on what this thing is, that they called themselves the gold mafias were responsible for this attack and stuff. If these people that let's just play devil's advocate here for a second and say it was some super, super sophisticated human beings, gold cartel, whatever, that were trying to like steal natural resources from resource rich pockets in South America. even if it got to the point where they really wanted the wealth that was there, why would they be running away? If they've got some sort of bulletproof armor on, what they would just stay and fight. Like they wouldn't be running away from there. You know, it just doesn't make sense. The whole escape thing to me is just so that you don't know quite you don't quite get to know what we are.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you were freezing there, and I wanted to make sure that everything got back in thing before I tried to talk. Um, I I think that, in my opinion here, I think what happened is the girl saw him, and it's a lot easier to
Yeah,
abduct the one eyewitness that knows that you're there, and just have her disappear into the
right,
forest, and then somebody will come up with an explanation. She was taken by one of the predators that you had
right,
talked about,
right.
and that's tragic and it's sad, and everybody moves on with life. But once she screams and she brings in pretty much half the village, you can't abduct everybody, and so I
No,
think at that time it's cut your losses and get out of there.
right. I think so too.
So I mean, I think the point of whatever they're doing in the forest is based off of secrecy, and they're trying to make sure that nobody knows that they're there to do whatever it is they're trying to do. Um, but the point that I was going to make about the jetpacks, a little bit, is one of the articles that I saw, and I'm sure it's out there, um, uh, has a little girl, 8 years old, 9 years old, maybe you've seen it, and she's holding up her phone. Apparently,
Yeah,
she has
with
a
the picture.
phone. Yeah, with the
Yeah,
picture taken off like TikTok or whatever it is, and supposedly that's supposed to be what
yeah.
everybody saw. And I'm just looking at this girl's face, and I'm like, she's not happy, which means she was given a
No,
phone with a photo, and it was, we're gonna take a picture of you with this picture on it to help our narrative. And it's I
right,
I mean, honestly, the Peruvian government is no different than any other type of government. They, if they can't explain something, or they don't want the public to know something, they change it to something that the public can accept. But honestly, like
yeah.
their
Wrap their heads around it.
exactly. I mean, but their explanation is so far out of left field, and it's so stupid in its, I guess, simplicity, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're only shedding more light on it, because I can't
Right,
see one person being like, that makes sense. 7 7 foot tall armored jetpack carrying gold miners working for the cartels. How could anybody think there's anything else? Like, nobody's
right,
saying that. And so now you have
right,
all of these people who are now going to try to figure out, and they're all going to go to Loretto, and they're all going to try to go in the forest to figure out what is really going on. And I can only imagine that
I mean,
it's now probably.
I think
Oh,
that,
go ahead.
and I don't know about there.
Go ahead. Or did I
No, I
freeze?
was just,
Oh,
we're freezing back and forth here. So sorry for the cutting in and stuff. But I don't remember what I was going to say now. It'll come back to me.
been there, done that. But we were talking about the government trying to cover up, I mean, how it sheds more light on it. Um,
Yeah, I know what I was going to say now. I'm surprised that there's not a team, whether it's a team from the U.S. or a team from South America or whatever. I'm surprised that there's not somebody like Josh Gates, let's say, that isn't going down there and digging around trying to find like what's happening. Like this story is unique enough to me, and it's so far under the radar with just the oversimplified response of trying to come up with an answer. I mean, it takes me back to the stupidity of Roswell when they come out and they say, "Oh my God, a flying saucer crashed," and then just the complete asinine 180-degree turnaround of them sitting on the ground with a freaking Mylar weather balloon that's about 2 feet in circumference when they were just talking about this giant craft that everybody saw. Oh no, sorry. It wasn't this craft that was 30 feet long. It was this 2-foot balloon. We just got super excited because it was out of proportion. Bullshit. That's one of the dumbest things. That is, I mean, our government has done some dumb things to try and cover stuff up, but that original one from Roswell, to me, is still one of the dumbest ways to try to explain something away I've ever seen in my life. And this is right behind it. This is right there, honestly. 7 foot tall, 7 foot tall gold hoarding mafia that on jetpacks with hoverboard crafts that are completely silent, fully armored, can take shotgun blasts, and doesn't even phase them. It's just those guys that are here trying to illegally mine the gold. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Okay. Yeah, I'd sleep much better at night if I lived in that village after I heard that official report. Why don't you come stay in our village for a week? How about that? How about I'm going to go stay at the presidential palace? How about that for like a week? Okay. And you come sleep in my hut here in the village. And then you let me know what you think after a week of weird shit that's happening here. And these guys hovercrafting in and stuff like that. And all of a sudden they're there. And 1 second they're there, 1 second they're not. And then people are disappearing. And then they're finding bodies that have been medically, dissected with a laser, in the dead of the jungle. Yeah, no. Sorry. Anyway, I digress.
I'll bet you though that when people to your point about how there's not a team or something in there, I'll bet you the government won't allow it.
That's what I was wondering. Like, somebody wants to get a visa and go over there, and they're going to be, and the purpose of your visit, we're going in and checking out in that whole Loretto story, man, with those face peelers and those aliens on the hoverboards. I got a whole team, tons of scientific equipment. Yeah, sorry, your visa's denied.
Stamp denied.
Yeah, denied. You're not even getting in. You're not getting in.
And it wouldn't even be because they're like, well, we don't want you looking into that. It would be like for your safety because they're gold miners out there.
Yeah.
We can't allow you to do that.
Right. Right. Yeah. We don't want you to get hurt.
Yeah. For your own safety, you're not allowed.
For your own safety. Right.
And so I mean, and this happened in 2023, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's now.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost recent.
Yeah, because I think I saw somebody talked about like something happened on like July 29th. And I was like, well, it's not July 29th yet, but it's coming. So, I mean, we're almost exactly 2 years.
Right.
From when.
Like the anniversary of it.
Right. From when this happened. And I mean, like, and you haven't heard anything since. No eyewitnesses. No, nobody's been like, yeah, they're still here. So I'm almost wondering if because their cover was blown in there, they've now shifted someplace else.
I mean, it certainly could be. If you take a look at the terrain of that area, Argentina, again, ginormous country, not overly populated once you get off the coast. I mean, a couple big cities, obviously, but once you get away from the metropolis, it's really just grass huts and dirt floors and jungle. And I mean, that's just that whole area is. All those countries
Mhm.
are. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if these are some type of extraterrestrial beings that are harvesting humans for whatever reason, experimentation, whatever. If that's what's really happening here, they could just as easily go 5 villages down from Loretto and be operating in secrecy and in shadow down there, and not be where this whole incident happened that made national news and in the spotlight kind of thing. I'd be very, very surprised if it stopped. I don't think it stopped. I think that probably those villagers are probably still scared. That weird stuff's still happening in that whole region, not just Loretto.
It would be interesting to hear. I mean, that's one of the things that I would like to see. Is I would like to see some sort of follow up. Just
Yeah.
Are things still happening? Are you guys still scared, or have you kind of just been like, well, it hasn't happened in 2 years. We're relaxing now. We think they've gone someplace else.
Right.
I completely agree with you. I definitely don't think it's stopped. I just don't think it's in that specific area anymore.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
So yeah, there was something else.
Well, here's the interesting part of that too. What if, and this has been proposed forever, and it's still believed by many to be the reason why there's other life forms on our planet, is because they're looking at our natural resources and minerals, because they use them in a different fashion than we do. And gold does seem to be one of the major things. Gold is a great conductor of electricity. The only way that we are able to send our deep space cameras and stuff like that, the only way those even work for those prolonged journeys are because they've got those big fans that basically open up, and they're solid gold. And they grab the energy, then they fold back in, then they recharge their batteries type of thing. So it's not the cost of gold like we think of gold. They're not wearing gold jewelry, right? They don't care about that. They're using it for something else, whether it's their technology for their hovercraft, whether it's they need gold or some other type of minerals to get back to home, wherever home may be. I don't know. I see I lost you, Mike. So that's kind of the story of the face peelers. We'll stay on top of it. We'll, this week coming up here, I'll grab some time. I'll look it up, see what I can find as far as any continuation on as whether there's new reports that are surfacing. Everything that I saw, everything that Anthony came up with, that it happened back in 2023. But I'm sure if we dig around enough, I'm sure that we'll find, some updates that maybe weird stuff's happening downriver from where this one happened, or like we said, maybe it moved over to Argentina, or maybe it's up in Nicaragua, or maybe it's, any one of the hundreds of other, small countries in South America. So.
Well, I definitely hope the show continued.
I think it did. I kept talking, so I figured I saw you disappear and me go to the jumbo screen, and I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. He'll be back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. I'm so close to. I don't want to say figure out, but to correcting this internet issue that I'm having, and so until I do, I think from now on I'm not going to use the Wi-Fi that I pay money for monthly in order to give me good service. But I'm just going to use my phone, like I did last week, and what I'm doing now, because the Wi-Fi router just dropped signal and rebooted or whatever, and It does that. It's just random intervals. Just randomly does it.
You've had nothing but issues with that setup, man.
I definitely have, and I think that it's a combination of a bunch of things, which we don't really need to get into now.
No, right.
But yeah, so I think until I actually solve this issue, I think from now
Yeah.
on I'm just going to stream this off my phone. I have unlimited data, so it doesn't. I don't care. I just want it to work.
Right. I agree.
So I am going to have to go. I hope to listen to the audio and get to this point, and hopefully it doesn't just like drop
Yeah.
audio. If it does, I apologize. I'm sure Dave was making amazing points while I was away.
I just said we were going to continue, that we were going to see if there was anything that we could find as far as like an update, anything newer that might be happening, especially with, next week's show will be on the 27th. So that's only a couple of days away from like the anniversary date of this happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting to see if, maybe something arises. We can touch base on it next week.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm just trying to. It was saying it was now having like trouble streaming to Facebook, but that's okay as long as it's streaming to YouTube.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, I digress. So anyway, yeah, that is the whole Peruvian face peelers thing. Like I said, I don't think face peelers is the proper name for this.
No, it was named by the villagers. Yeah, they named it that. So
yeah, I mean, there was also, I mean, if you want to go way back, there's the I don't even know if I'm going to say this right, but the pish taco. Am I saying that right?
As far as I know, yeah.
PISH taco. One word. It is not a new menu at Taco Bell. It is a mythical creature that. But I guess the regional names is not cake, which is holy crap. You know what? Look it up yourself. There's so many words that I can't even pronounce. I'm not even going to try. Half my explanation is going to be me trying to sound out words. Yeah. So
yeah, half your explanation is going to need its own explanation.
Yes, pretty much. So basically, in layman's terms, the names that they have for this pish taco is like butcher and hit my mic. My apologies. Butcher and cutter, and like it means to like behead, to slaughter, or to cut into pieces. But yeah, so the villagers, I think the villagers try to claim that this thing, because the girl's neck was cut, right? Like they attempted to cut her.
Yep.
Or they did cut her on
accident.
accident.
She actually, yeah. No, there was the guy, the one guy that grabbed her actually had some type of device in his hand that was like a laser that started to cut into the side of her neck. When she was, and then that's when she started. Well, I think she was probably screaming because they were trying to yank her and pull her up through the canopy. I mean, I'd be screaming too. Wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So it and honestly, I mean, that almost goes, if you want to count that with like cattle mutilations and shit. I mean, that would that would explain the surgical cuts if they have some sort of this, the
Yep.
mini type mobile, you know, laser scalpel,
Right.
which which you see on Star Trek.
Which I don't think we have a portable version of that yet, as far as I know.
We don't, Dave. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Exactly. I was just thinking the same thing. Yeah, no, we don't have that technology. We've got the big version of it, but we don't have a pocket version of it yet.
How many times, and not to get off the subject, even though I think we've pretty much hit everything that we need to say.
Well, I think we hit everything on it. Yeah, I mean,
but here's kind of an off-topic question: how many times do you think we are going to hear the line from military and government officials of "we don't have that technology," only to find out, yeah, we actually do have that technology.
We have the technology.
So,
I think, like Chad said, I think it was Chad that told us way back when, like, anything that you see in the movies that they're doing in the movies, that's all 20-year-old technology. Even though it's all brand new technology, like it's all new and exciting things to us, that's all things that have already been used. And then they don't, the powers that be don't care about putting it into a movie because, it seems science fiction to us. Like, how could they do that? Or I can't wait to the day when they make that.
Well, it was Ozzy Osbourne who said anything that we see today has been around for 30 years.
That's right.
But Chad was the one that said how, like, the studio presidents and stuff like that, they go to the government each year, like they have a meeting with the DOD, and the DOD tells them, like, who's the enemy of the summer.
Yeah.
Like, who do they need to focus on being the enemy? So, obviously after 9/11, all the movies were about Islamic terrorists.
Right.
And then it moved on to something, something else, Russia, or then it moved, some point in time, there's going to be a whole series of alien movies that come out.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or maybe that's just like the secondhand thing. Like, there always seems to be an alien movie every year. Just depends on.
So you'll find this very interesting, right? So the guy whose name I gave you earlier today before the show, and you'll see this, and this is why we're going to do a show on him later this year. But he goes in and starts talking about the Tic Tacs and stuff, and how the Tic Tacs have been around for a long time, like thousands and thousands of years, that they're not new. And he's got some great points on why that is the case. And so we're preempting a show, kind of a little cheater here, a little look into the future. But there's an incredible guy who's passed away now, but remote viewer number one. And we won't throw his name out there today. We'll save it until we're going to do the show. But he came up with this amazing thing and was talking about Tic Tacs. So it makes you stop and think. Like, we see the Tic Tac videos, like we talked about last week's show, and we're all like, man, this technology, this is like, is it ours? Is it backward engineered from, crashed extraterrestrial craft, or is it something extraterrestrial? Or are UFOs spiritual? And I've heard that before, and it never really sunk in. And then this week I was doing some reading, and I saw some really good arguments for the fact that people having sightings and stuff like that it's not aliens, it's not from, two galaxies over, that it's actually spiritual in nature.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes with the whole, the whole theory that I've been trying to work with, where, cryptids like Bigfoot, aliens, CE5 and whatnot, and spirits are all connected in some way.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can see that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, for people, they see orbs, right? Like, they're just balls of energy. I mean, when my mom passed away earlier this year, her energy was around for a while. It was clearly the size, like I shared with you, like a big cantaloupe or like the size of a beach ball moving through the house. I mean, it wasn't a reflection off of a window. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't a reflection of shit. It was a ball of energy, an orb moving around that you could visually watch yourself. So when people have experiences like that, I think sometimes it's misidentification of what they're actually seeing out of fear. I'm sure a lot of people, it's fear because they don't want to see stuff like that. Because when people see stuff like that, it forces you to question yourself as far as, did I just see that? And if I did, and it's real, then what else don't I know? And I think people are afraid of that. They're afraid to take that next step. They like their own little tight, concentrated safety zones. They don't want to have to expand the horizons type of thing.
Yeah. So with the last 10 minutes, I want to quick hit our kind of secondary topic.
Second topic? Yeah.
Secondary topic.
Yep.
So if you're part of the paranormal community, especially on Facebook, because it was all over Facebook.
Yeah.
You read the article, or at least the headline, that a paranormal investigator who was Annabelle the doll's handler died. Suddenly. Like, it's not like he was dying of cancer or anything like that, and this was like expected. 54-year-old Dan Rivera. Which sucks. He was an Army veteran, a father of 4, a husband, and that's absolutely tragic. But the thing is, and I just saw it today because Dave, you brought it up, and I had just seen it like maybe an hour before the show, because I uploaded some videos some pictures to Instagram of the mobile command unit, and it was kind of there in the feed. But like, he's literally opening up the case that is supposed to keep it binded and from attack, and he's opening it up and he's handling the doll.
He's actually physically handling Annabelle. Correct.
Yes. And you and I were talking about how just reckless that is. And I mean, I'm not saying this guy deserved. Obviously he didn't. But you would think as a paranormal investigator, you would be a little smarter than to do something like that.
I would have found a different way. Well, first of all, I'm not really sure. Like the museum, after Lorraine died in 2019, the museum shut down. And so nobody's been, as far as I know, probably other than Tony and Lorraine's nephew, who I think oversees the house or takes care of it. I think. I don't think that there's been a lot of activity there, so that doll's been sitting there for a long time. I don't know. I've never been, so I don't know if that case that she was in was actually like attached, like a permanent thing, or whether that was just something that you could pick up and take with you. But if it was something you could take with you, then why in the hell would you take her out of the case? Why would you break the seal? I mean, even if you don't believe in it, even if you think it's all just bullshit, which I thoroughly do not, but just for the skeptics out there, you think, oh, it's just a movie. It's a Raggedy Ann doll. It's a movie. It's not, there's nothing to this. It's all just BS. Even if you think that, I bet you would still hesitate to open up that case. right? Like if they gave you the key and said, "All right, tough guy, you go take her out of the case," then I bet you even the hardest skeptic would pause.
Probably pause at least for a little bit, unless they're so egotistical and so wanting to be right that they're willing to put it just to make them, put themselves in danger just on the off chance that they could be proven right.
Yeah, and then a week
So
later they're dead. So
as we're on the air, I did a search for, I couldn't remember the guy's name. Excuse me a second. Excuse me. And so I looked it up, and apparently Newsweek reached out to Jason Hawes
okay,
about the death. And I want to read what he said because I think he's absolutely correct in it. But he pretty much, he wrote that, the world lost a good man, was an Army veteran, the father of four, and someone who truly cared about people. And he said, he continued, what's even harder to see right now are the posts blaming his death on things like the Annabelle doll and attacking places like ghostly images of Gettysburg tours and other locations for having events. That needs to stop. His family shouldn't have to read that kind of nonsense while they're grieving. Some people are using his passion or his passing to push an agenda for profit. And it's just disgusting. 100% agree. Dan was a family man, a respected paranormal investigator, and he left this world way too soon. He concluded his message, let's focus on remembering Dan for who he was, not turning his death into some made-up bullshit story to get clicks or attention. Honor the man, forget the garbage. Totally agree with that.
yeah, I mean it's a good assessment. I still think it was reckless that he took the dollar.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
I mean,
I'm
not going to dismiss that, but yeah, I know. And then you start going into coincidences, and I don't believe in coincidences. So, I mean, let's transition to the first leg of, the tour that it was on, is in Louisiana. And while it's there, the oldest standing, really the last one, largest plantation home mysteriously burns to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
A day later, 10 inmates escape out of the prison out of Louisiana. All murderers, every one of them.
Well,
I get it.
I'm not going that far and being like, all right, the plantation burning down where Annabelle is or was anyway. Okay.
Right.
But they didn't take Annabelle to the prison and then all of a sudden inmates are escaping. So, I mean, I think you're trying to make a connection for shit that has nothing
No,
to
I'm
do
just
with
saying,
Annabelle.
I'm not trying to connect the inmate escape to the doll at all. I'm just mentioning that it happened. I'm just throwing it out there. The burning down of the plantation, to me, very, very strange.
And maybe it's strange because we haven't, at least I don't think so. I haven't exactly looked into it further. I just know that sort of thing happened. But did they ever come up with the reason that it caught fire?
It's a good. I did not follow up on that. It'd be easier for you to look it up right now than it would be for me, to be honest, if you wanted to do a quick search for it. But I think they're just playing with fire. I don't know why they even decided to take Annabelle out on tour.
Money.
I know it said, the tour kicked off in 2025 to bring the Warrens' artifacts on the road, with Annabelle being a main attraction, despite prior warnings from Lorraine that no one should ever move the doll. Why now? I mean, I know that the last Conjuring movie, the last one they're ever making, is coming out. I mean, I don't know if this is like a, kind of like trying to get the public interested or back into the Conjuring franchise mindset for the movie coming out. But they the tour traveled. They traveled with a Catholic priest who was blessing the doll all the time. And I know that the Warrens, not only after they sealed the case and had it blessed, that they had everything in that in the thing blessed monthly. And I think, like, we've talked to Johnny Zaffis too. He has his stuff blessed at least once a month by multitudes of different religious individuals, not just Catholic. He has it blessed by all kinds of individuals. So, you just got to keep the darkness at bay by flooding it with love and light and positivity. What'd you see?
I searched for the Louisiana plantation that burned down. It was the Nottoway plantation. But the USA Today title of it is the haunted doll Annabelle to blame for a plantation fire. Here's the first sentence, David. The internet began to blame the escape of 10 inmates from a New Orleans jail and a fire that destroyed the Nottoway plantation on Annabelle's visit. Have you been reading the USA Today, Dave?
See? It's not me. It's USA Today that's throwing out the whole inmate escaping.
My God. Like, this is becoming... It's becoming mass hysteria is what the Annabelle doll is.
I'm
like,
curious to see whether the tour is going to continue.
The tour will continue.
I'm interested to see if it does.
But so for the plantation itself,
it
was the investigation is ongoing, but they believe it was an electrical fire that started on the second floor.
Well, that's just an easy excuse. That's like saying that they're gold mafia with hoverboards.
They're
I mean, that's the easiest, cheesiest line you can use. Yeah, we believe that it could have been an electrical fire that started in the wall on the second floor. That's just that's because they don't know and they don't have an answer and they don't understand how it happened, so they threw that shit out there.
There was theories and rumors that it was set ablaze arson due to its history and what it represents.
I heard that too, but they never found any proof of that.
No, they found no proof saying that this had anything to do with arson. So, yeah. The paranormal works in mysterious ways that's to be blamed on. It wasn't Annabelle. I have no flipping idea.
I don't know if it was Annabelle or it wasn't Annabelle, but I'm telling you what, if you're going to go on this tour and you're going there for a thrill, just be careful what the reason you're going there for and what you really want to get out of it. Because, again, I've said it a billion times in my lifetime. Just be careful what you wish for, because when you actually get your wish comes true, you might want to backtrack the wish, and it's too late at that point. So, just I don't know why they decided, since it's been sitting quietly since 2019, why they decided to bring it out on the road. I think the whole thing is reckless. It was done to make money, for somebody to profit from it. That's the only reason you would do it. It's not like they're not charging people to see it. I mean, I don't know anything about the tour, but I'm going to guess it's not free, which means that somebody's trying to make a buck on it. And regretfully, one person's already lost their life. And if they continue on this path, I think it's just reckless. Well, that's my personal viewpoint, by the way. So,
right. We don't know, obviously, and we probably never will, whether Annabelle had anything to do with his death whatsoever.
Right.
Maybe he suffered from sleep apnea and it finally got him.
Maybe.
It happens. I don't know. They're obviously doing an autopsy, but that won't be available for like 60 to 90 days, the article said. I'm sure people will be all over. You'll see it in your feeds as soon as that article's written.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with Jason Hawes. I think everybody just needs to take a step back and stop stop making this about the Annabelle doll and just chalk it up to it being, regardless of the reasons why this happened, whatever his death was, it's just a tragedy for him, the people that knew him, and especially his family.
Right.
And lay off everything else.
That won't happen, but
No, of course not. But
it sounds good, but that won't happen in the world we live in now because
sounds good.
Yeah, it won't happen. There's
I
too
know.
many TikTok creators chomping at the bit to be the next person to. I can't tell you what I looked. I looked up something the other day. It was was it yesterday or Friday? I looked up something here within the last couple of days, and like the top 20 hits, and it was paranormal related. The top 20 hits were all either YouTube or TikTok videos.
Mm-hmm.
And so I clicked on a couple of them, and it was all AI generated with AI voice. And it was the most annoying thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm just like, people, stop.
Yeah.
Voice it yourself, or don't do it at all. Stop using that AI technology voice. I'm going to choke that thing one of these days.
That was the thing that I had sent you when you first gave me the Peruvian face peelers topic.
Yeah,
I went and looked it up, and I even sent you a message. I'm like, are you sure there's anything here? I'm like, because my first 15, like, it took me a while to find an actual article, because everything that was there was YouTube or TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to go to YouTube and TikTok for my research.
No, I mean, and props to Anthony, obviously, because he dug deep and found some really good articles for us, like the one from the Hindu Times and the other one that was right from Peru that I had to translate into English because I didn't understand a single thing that was being said. Like, I didn't recognize any of it. I'm like, would you like to translate this to English? Yes, I would. Thank you very much.
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Yes, I would.
Yes, I had to do that too. I got a thing that was written in Spanish, and I'm like, yeah, no. But anyway, that does it for us. And for this week.
You didn't even say anything. I got my Odyssey Files background thing figured out finally.
Oh, I didn't know that I needed to.
Oh, well.
All right.
Would have been nice of you to notice.
I did notice before I even brought you into the stream. I was like, hey, you got that taken care of.
I had some weird settings on my computer. I don't know what the hell I was doing, but no.
We're back, baby.
Some funky settings, man. Then I get it uploaded, and I'm like, why is it backwards? That's really stupid. Couldn't figure it out. Opened up the settings box. It says the little checkbox, mirror my image. Why would I want to mirror my image? Unclick that, fixed itself. I'm like, okay, there's some weird shit. Somebody's been playing with my laptop because I didn't do that.
Yeah, StreamYard. StreamYard's doing some things to make people money. I'm only going to say this before we go off the air, because unless Dave and I both agree to this, and I doubt we will, StreamYard now has the option where when you stream to YouTube, it will shrink your display and simultaneously allow you to do your show while it plays commercials. And so, yeah, another way to make money.
I was going to say, how much are they paying us?
Well, I'm assuming it depends on the clicks, but anyway, I digress. I just want to say that I doubt Dave and I are going to agree to do that, just in case.
Yeah. I mean,
for the future, maybe we'll try it out. I doubt it, but never know.
We'll see.
But anyway, like I said, that does it for us. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode. 3 weeks in a row. We're going for the pennant. And and yeah. So till then, stay healthy, stay safe. Everyone, have a great rest of your weekend.